Hey guys, how you doing? Dervy here, and in this video I want to share with you guys the most efficient way for any crafter to 100% high quality any item that they craft. Now you have to go and get yourself a few cross-class abilities, which means you do have to level a few classes up to 15 in order for this to even work in the first place. However, it is extremely rewarding because you can then use this method to go and synthesize any item that you can and continuously gain experience whilst using your high quality leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a step back for a second and I'm going to show you guys what I do. Now as you can see, I'm using a rubellite choker, and you can tell that I am not using any high quality items because I have only 1% high quality. And now I'm going to show you guys how I craft. There we have it. Now I did do quite a few mistakes while synthesizing that item. However, as you can see, it is possible. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, he has obviously the best gear in slot. Well, I really don't. I have the high quality gear. However, if you go and take a look at my material, it is awful. I have a craftsmanship material. Nearly all my gear has level 1 material on them. Most of them doesn't even have any material, such as my gloves and my boots. The only good piece I really have is my aetherite ring, and that doesn't have any material. And all my bracelets as well don't have any material. Well, they have really low material. And my offhand also has no material. So as you can see, I am a poorly geared level 50 crafter who can easily make high quality items. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the skills that I use to make this happen. The first skill is Hasty Touch. This increases the quality of our craft. It has an efficiency of 100%. It requires no CP, however it has a success rate of 50%. Now this seems like a really bad skill, because it has a success rate of 50%. However, once I start talking about the other skills that I use with Hasty Touch, it will slowly start to make sense. You also need 15 culinary. The next two skills are our durability skills. These two skills increase the durability of our item, so we can continue to synthesize and continue to get higher quality. The first one I like to talk about is Master's Mend 2. Master's Mend 2 is a skill that every class gets, and it restores an item's durability by 60, and it has 160 CP cost, which means the second I pressed Master's Mend 2, I will lose 160 CP and I will gain 60 durability. Now this skill is very good for items that have longer synthesis or longer durability, such as when you're crafting rings or accessories or body armor, for example. So you want to be using Master's Mend 2 if the item has about 80 durability. If you're crafting like ingots or other resources that have 40 durability, you will want to be using Manipulation. You need 15 goldsmithing to get this skill. Manipulation restores 10 points of durability after each step for the next 3 steps. What this means is, once I press Manipulation, every skill that I do will now increase the durability of my item by 10. So if I click Manipulation and then use a synthesis, I will lose 10, but then I'll gain back 10. And I'll talk a little bit about what this means. If I go and use now a steady hand, for example, which doesn't use up a durability, I will instead just gain 10 points of durability, and that will be it. So I could go Trick of the Trade, Steady Hand, and then Inner Quiet for example, and I will gain 30 durability back. The next skill I want to talk about is Steady Hand. This improves the action success rate by 20% for the next 5 steps. To my knowledge, this skill is additive, not multiplicative like some people say. What this means is it adds 20% success rate to our abilities. Unlike if it was multiplicative, it will multiply our success rates by 1.2. Now of course, there needs to be a lot more research done into whether this buff is or isn't multiplicative or isn't additive, but however I assume from what I personally have seen and from what I have personally have read that this is additive. The next skill I want to talk about is Trick of the Trade. You need 15 alchemy to get this skill. It restores 20 CP each time you have a good condition. Now this skill is ridiculously good. It basically means you can have infinite amounts of CP regen depending on your luck. Now this sounds kind of risky, but you get a good condition when crafting very frequently. So you can continuously gain a lot of CP back, and then you can restack it with more manipulations or Master's Men 2s, more steady hands, and you will not be losing any CP. The CP regen from this is basically to use your utility skills, such as Master's Men 2 and Steady Hand. Because we're not using any CP, with Hasty Touch, it means we're going to be continuously be able to craft and continuously get high quality because of this skill. This skill is very good. The next skill is Inner Quiet. Now, Inner Quiet grants a bonus to control with every increase in quality. This means each time I use a Hasty Touch, I will gain a stack of Inner Quiet. And for each stack of Inner Quiet, I gain more control, which means every single time I use my Hasty Touch, the quality of the item will increase much more. Now this is a very good skill, and everybody should be using this Inner Quiet skill if they're planning to make high quality items. Rumination is another skill that everybody should be using. You get it at level 15 Carpentry, and it removes all of your Inner Quiet stacks, and it restores CP proportional to the number of times control was increased. So in other words, for each Inner Quiet stack that you have, you gain a certain amount of CP. Now the CP regen with Rumination isn't linear, and I will talk a little bit more about how Rumination works. The next skill I also like to use is the Great Strides. Now this skill is very good. It doubles the efficiency of the next touch action. So if I use Great Strides and Standard Touch whilst I have a few inner stacks ready, I could pretty much guarantee to get around 70% high quality. If for example now I use Great Strides and I have Advanced Touch and I have quite a few Inner Quiet stacks, I could go from 17% high quality to 100% easily. Advanced Touch is a very good skill, and I recommend everybody to use Advanced Touch with the Great Strides if you have the CP. So now I'm going to do a little step by step on how I craft my gear. Along the way I'm also going to be explaining what I do and my reasonings behind everything. So for this example I'm going to be making a rose gold nugget. I will be using high quality gold just for this example, because I do want to get the high quality for this item genuinely. But this is also because if you were lacking on a lot of gear like I am, it would be best to get the high quality mats to make the high quality gear. So we start off with our little menu, and as you can see we're at 14% because we're using 3 items that are high quality. The only one that isn't high quality being the copper ore. So the first thing you want to do is use your Inner Quiet. And now you can see we automatically got a good condition. Now, good conditions, as I said previously, they happen randomly, and they are pretty common. So now, each time we get a good condition, we'll want to be using our tricks of the trade. Now, this won't use up our durability. However, we have now gained back 20 CP. So we have gained back all the CP that we originally used for the inner quiet. So now there is 0 CP loss. So now we want to go and use our steady hand, as this is now going to increase the success rates of our hasty touch. So now we're going to be using a hasty touch. And now we have another good condition. Now each time you see a good condition, you will want to use the tricks of the trade. Always. Because you want to get back the CP as much as you can, especially on the earlier stages of when you're crafting. When you get into later stages when you're crafting and you find yourself you have a lot more CP to spend, then you should be using advanced touch or maybe a standard touch depending on how much CP you have when you get a good condition. If you have an excellent condition at the beginning of your craft, you want to completely skip that and just continue using your hasty touches. However, if you do get an excellent towards the end of your craft, you'll always want to be using your advanced touch if you can. So now we're going to use our tricks of the trade, and now we're going to go back and use another hasty touch. Now we're down to 20 durability. And from here, we're going to be using manipulation. Now, the reason why we use manipulation at 20 and not 10 is because if we now go and use a hasty touch when it is at 10 durability, the item will break. This is because it first uses the 10 durability when doing the craft, or the synthesis, or the touch, and then we get back 10. It's not the other way around where we get back 10 and then we lose 10. So you always want to be using your manipulation or your master's meant to when you're at around 20 durability. And then from here we want to use another hasty touch, and as you can see this one failed unfortunately, but our durability is still the same. Now we have run out of heavy steady hand stacks, so we want to be reusing our steady hand. We've got a good, so we want to use tricks of the trade again. And now we're right at the beginning again, so we use 2 hasty touches. We've got another tricks of the trade, so we want to be using that. Another hasty touch. We got another tricks of the trade, so this is a very good craft so far. I've never usually gotten tricks of the trade procs this many times, so we're going to be using it again. And now we're out of steady hand procs. Now if you come to the situation where you're at 20 durability and you then have to use a manipulation and a steady hand, you want to use the manipulation first and then use the steady hand. This way you generate 10 durability back without losing any steady hand procs. You want to have as much steady hands as you possibly can. So now we're going to be using hasty touch again until we go back down to 20 durability. Now for this one, because we are at 116 CP and we're at such a high quality, I'm going to use a Great Strides, combo it off with a standard touch, and that should get us to 100% quality. We got a good, so we're going to use tricks of the trade. Now we're going to use Rumination, and we're going to gain back all of our CP. We gained about 54 CP just then. Now we're out of steady hands procs, so we're going to use a steady hand. And now we're going to start doing the progress. And we're just going to use one standard synthesis, as this is 150 efficiency with a 15 CP cost usage, and because we have our steady hand, this is going to be 100%. And we're going to do it again. And that's it. That's our high quality rose gold nugget done. So now we have our high quality rose gold nugget, and I'm going to use this and make myself an aetheorite ring, a high quality one. Now When you're crafting 80 durability items, it is exactly the same process as before. So each time we have a good, we use tricks of the trade. However, once we get down to 20 durability, instead of using the manipulation, we want to use Master's Bend 2. The reason why you have a better chance also getting a high quality item during these longer synthesis is because you can use Hasty Touch so much more times. In other words, we have a higher chance of getting our high quality up, and because we're going to be building up so much inner quiet stacks whilst getting our high quality up, the control bonus is going to be a lot more, and because we're also going to be having a lot more inner quiet stacks, the CP regen from Rumination is going to be a lot more. So we're going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to use inner quiet, steady hand, and now we're going to be using our hasty touches all the way down to 20 durability, and each time we get a tricks of the trade proc because of a good condition, we're going to be using tricks of the trade. Now we have an excellent condition, and for this I'm going to go straight away and use an advanced touch because I've already used 3 hasty touches, and that took us straight away to 98%. So this was an extremely lucky craft. So now we're going to use steady hand, get the condition back to normal, and now we're going to be using our standard synthesis. We got a good proc, so we're going to use tricks of the trade again. Just for this video, I'm going to go and get this 100%. So I'm going to use a basic touch to ensure that I get the proc. And now we're going to use Rumination. Now I wouldn't recommend doing this going down to 10 durability like what I just did, because it is kind of risky. But luckily I still have the Master's Bend 2. So I'm going to use Master's Bend 2. Now I'm going to use steady hand. I'm going to use another standard synthesis. I got a good proc, so I'm going to use tricks of the trade. I'm going to use another standard synthesis. And now I'm just going to use my basic synthesis. And that's high quality crafting in a nutshell, pretty much. It's really easy. Once you have the skills and you do actually have the high quality base item, to make the rings or the accessories, you're pretty much guaranteed to get yourself a high quality craft. So the TLDR version of the crafting like this is pretty much this. In a quiet, steady hand, spam hasty touch until you are at 20 durability, use manipulation or Master's Bend 2 depending on the type of item you're crafting, and then use tricks of the trade every single time you have a good proc. Make sure you always keep your steady hands up. Once you have done around about 3 to 4 hasty touches and you get an excellent, then you can use advanced touch or standard touch. And then once you go all the way down and you get very close to 100%, use Rumination, then either use a manipulation or Master's Bend 2 if it is needed in order to actually go through and synthesize the craft. Use a steady hand if you have the CP, and then go and synthesize the item until it is created. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Rumination and how it works with Inner Quiet. So earlier on in this video I said that the CP regen of Rumination isn't linear, and it works like this. With 1 stack of Inner Quiet you get 15 CP. With 2 stacks of Inner Quiet we get 24 CP. With 3 stacks of Inner Quiet we get 32 CP. 4 stacks of Inner Quiet we get 39 CP. 5 stacks of Inner Quiet we get 45 CP. With 6 stacks of Inner Quiet we get 50 CP back. 7 stacks of Inner Quiet is 54. 8 stacks gives us 57. 9 stacks gives us back 59. And 10 plus stacks gives us 60. So in other words, once we have used hasty touch or one of our touches 10 times, we are only ever going to get back 60 CP. So in the description box I'm going to leave a link to the Reddit post where I got all this information from, and where I got the idea to start crafting like this. Please give it a read because there's a lot of good information in that thread, and hopefully you guys can use this trick for your own use. Now please note, you do not need to be level 50 to craft like this. You can also be level 18 and still craft like this as well. As you can see, I've got Tricks of the Trade, Rumination, Hasty Touch, and I'm currently using Master's Mend because I don't have access to manipulation yet. I will get it once I get 20 and I have access to an extra cross-class ability slot. So, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully this video has been very informative for a lot of people, and I'll see you guys next time.